Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Tending the Flag. On this episode, we're going to go over the Arnold Palmer Invitational. We're going to talk about Liv's technology, why we watch golf in person and on TV, and what makes a great broadcast, and, of course, where we played this week. Now just sit back, relax, line up your putt because we're tending the flag. Hey everybody, welcome again to Tending the Flag. Kev, we made it to episode 2. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great. I feel great.
Yeah,
Look,
we made it.
made it, played golf since the last time we talked. Life is great.
Right? It's been a beautiful week down here in Williamsburg, Virginia. I got out last week, and of course, my name is PJ, and like I said, Williamsburg, Virginia representing here, and with me is Kevin from probably a closet in a nondescript office building, sharing a business address with 1,000 other businesses in the wonderful state of Delaware.
I mean, it's not really a closet. It's more like a basement, but still.
Either way, you got 1,000 different, but you know what? You're the one dude that has to be there, and that's good.
I don't have that much pull.
That's how all the other companies get their tax havens, though.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, we're in Delaware.
Hello, Delaware.
All right.
What is it? The Simpsons, where it's like, now entering Delaware.
Yeah, and they just drive through it. Wayne's World, of course, famous for their Delaware joke, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Delaware has its good part, but that's going to be for a podcast about Delaware, which you can probably find somewhere on Spotify. It'll be about 2.5 seconds long about the positives of Delaware, but hey,
I was
we're
going to say
good.
our Delaware quota has been reached way too early in this episode.
Moving on then. All right, so Kev, what are you drinking tonight? Anything good?
No, nothing good tonight. I was going to make myself a nice little margarita. I am just sipping on a glass of water at the moment.
No, that's fair enough. I got my patented Malibu drink for recipe. It is a secret blend of Malibu coconut rum and Scotland's official drink, Iron Brew.
So I had a feeling that's what it was when he called it Malibrew.
Mm-hmm.
But I might be one of the few that's in on that beverage. Uh,
It's another thing on paper that
yeah.
shouldn't work, but it does. I don't know how, but it works. It's fine. It's like when we mixed the Jack Daniels and Iron Brew. It was kind of weird, but it worked.
I mean, it gets you to the destination. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how you get there, but you get there. It's not.
You know what? Jack Daniels said mix it with anything, so it's fine by me.
Oh, it worked.
Anyway, this is a golf podcast, not a drinking podcast. So I think it's high time we talk about some golf. We had some pretty good action at the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week.
Yeah. I mean, always an exciting finish. Two guys come down the wire. Hole out on 16, I believe, for Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
By Russell Henley to take Morikawa by one.
Yeah,
It was
Russell
an exciting
Henley.
tournament too. Not,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a big event, but a lot of people. Keegan Bradley was holing out early on Sunday. Just great TV watching.
Oh yeah, highly entertaining. I mean, Russell, fifth win on tour. He's now $3 or $4 million richer. I forget what the purse is. It was somewhere around there. 34
I,
million
I
career
s-
earnings. So
yeah, I saw a number, and it was somewhere around like 3.74 million. That area he won this week, which ironically enough is just like couple $100,000 more than Arnold Palmer made in his career.
right.
So congratulations, Henley. For
Yeah, no
overtaking
miscuts all
Arnold Palmer.
season. Like he earned it, and he came back and he was what 4 down, 3 down. Came back.
Yeah.
And you
Mhm.
mentioned the hole out on
He-
16, and that shook Colin. Shook Colin to
You're
his
right.
core.
Yeah, I think you have a couple of harsher feelings towards Morikawa than I do.
Slightly. I love the
yeah,
guy,
I
but
mean-
yeah.
Look, he's a great golfer.
No
And
doubt.
it takes something to constantly finish where he is. I mean, unfortunately, second place finish of the year in 4 starts. He's had many runners up in top fives
Hmm.
over the past 2 years. But I mean, again, it's in the lead on Sunday and comes home in second.
Yeah, he's had one win since his 2021 Open win, and yeah, I guess slightly harsher feelings would be the way to put it. But I mean, I'm not going to discredit Colin because what he's been doing is very, very hard to do, and it's incredibly difficult to play in contention every single week on the tour, and that's what he's been doing. But yeah, I don't think he has that killer instinct. Like this week he had it. Russell came back, shook him up a little bit, sure. But Colin just needed to go out and beat Russell just on those last couple of holes, and he couldn't do it. He doesn't have that like killer instinct to be able to finish off the round, and he could have at any time.
You're right, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. Golf's a funny sport. I was trying to think of a way to like reference it to like football or basketball or something, and there's not really anything because it's that individual, and it's literally it's your well-being from first to second to third. It's how much you take home. It's not a contract like a normal
It's not live.
athlete would do. And yeah, well, I mean, yeah,
They get their bonuses.
definitely, definitely. But yeah, like it's almost, yeah, it could be, hey, I could win this, but I could also finish in 10th, and that could be $1 million.
Yeah, you still get a
Um,
fat paycheck.
oh, 100%, 100%.
Michael Kim got
But
$1
yeah,
million,
I mean,
and he finished where? Oh, I'm trying to look it up right now. Would help if I could spell.
it's Michael and Kim.
I can spell Michael Kim. Fourth place.
He finished in fourth. That was right.
Michael Kim, we love you. Don't hate me on Twitter or X.
We, we can skip that one out too.
Yeah, leave it
Um,
in there. It's fun.
nah.
Yeah, $1 million for fourth place. So I mean, the money is there. It's just competing to win, and Colin just needs to take that next step. I think once he develops that, just like lock in. All right, I need to beat these guys, not play it safe. That's when he's going to start winning tournaments. And as a wise man once said, it's all about checks and championships.
I mean, he's 28. He's got plenty of time to still figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what he wants to do. Again, I think some people are very happy with being second in a field, of a couple hundred or whatever it is. Like, second is still very accomplished. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
obviously, he's not taking a trophy home.
And to your
Good
and to
on
your
him. I
point,
think it says something to consistently be there throughout your career.
yeah, and to your point, the PGA Tour rewards consistency. That's how you get to the playoff, and you can win the championship, with good consistency.
That's true. That's true. You're going to rack up those FedEx points.
Yeah, I'll take him on my Ryder Cup team. He's fine.
Okay.
I'll take Russell too. What do you think about that? Russell Henley, Ryder Cup team.
If you want to go on recent performances, I mean, sure. He's got 4 top 10s this year and 6 starts.
Mm-hmm. No missed cuts,
Finished sixth
consistent.
last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably. I think he'll make it on points though. Let me see. Yep, RyderCup.com. Russell Henley moves into the top 6 of the U.S. rankings with victory at Arnold Palmer Invitational. So
Oh,
he's
does he really?
there on points. Yeah, 7,808.45 points total. So right now he is on the Ryder Cup team. It moved him up behind number 3, Morikawa. Or Morikawa moved up to number 3 behind Scheffler and Schauffele. Bryson's
Yep.
got 69.93 and McNeely at 39.90 to round out the top 6.
That's an interesting list.
Yeah, Bryson at Bethpage. I mean, you played it. How do you think he'll fare?
I mean, if there's one course that you got to hit bombs, that's one of them. But
That's
you
his
also got to
spot.
keep them straight. But yeah, I mean, Justin Thomas in 11th, Wyndham Clark 13th.
Mm-hmm.
There's some interesting names on that list. I haven't really paid attention to that. Interesting.
Yeah, it's the first time I've looked it up too. Just talking about it right now, but it's a good list. A lot of room
Yeah,
to
I
move
don't.
on it though. I mean, that's definitely going to change. I think Morikawa obviously is going to stay because he is consistent. Um, Scotty Scheffler, he'll be there. Bryson and Maverick, I don't see Maverick probably changing. Bryson maybe by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, I think the biggest point is it's probably too early to really focus in on those spots right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm just looking at the article to see if there's anything. No, nothing much more. But yeah, there's a top 6 for the Ryder Cup as of right now. But again, it's a couple months away, so it's not anything to worry about right now. But anyway, back to the Bay Hill Invitational. Question for you, good sir, is Bay Hill. Where would that rank on your list of places you want to play if you want to play it?
I feel like every tour stop for me is probably on the list somewhere. I don't know if I have Bay Hill super high up there. I mean, it's a course I would love to play if I was given the chance, and
Mhm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get on. It's not like it's one I can't play. It's just not up there in my list.
Yeah, you have to stay
Um,
there to play it, but
yeah, my list is like the exclusive, Pebbles, the Sawgrass. I would love to get onto.
you can play them
Um,
both. Break
you
your
can,
wallet,
you
but you can
can,
play them both.
you can. Yes, you're right.
1100 for Sawgrass in season.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, I saw that on
That's
somebody put it on Twitter the other day, and I think it was like 1100, $1,000. That might have been with the caddy fee, but still.
still. I mean, you're gonna do it anyway. But yeah, I kind of just have like a big like, yeah, I would love to play it list, and I guess Bay Hill would be on there. My like top some lists are they change every moment. I have a
Oh
running
yeah,
Google Maps on my computer here that I just add courses I see, and I really want to go there.
yeah. Bay Hill. I don't know if I would put it in the top half of tour courses I want to play. I mean, it's decent, it's solid, it's Bay Hill, but I think what makes it more wanting to play it for me was I lived 10 minutes from there for 2 years,
Yeah,
and I delivered groceries to that neighborhood quite frequently. So it was always just a tease seeing right there, like, oh man, I just walk down the street and play it. But
yeah. I
obviously
mean,
didn't
that's
happen.
like Marion for me.
Yeah,
My grandmother
yeah,
lived down the road from Marion, and to get to her house, you take the back roads that go right through the golf course there. So I mean, I've grown up driving past the Wicker Baskets.
yeah. Marion was always
And
a tease when I had to drive past that place too.
yeah, I mean, I got to go there in shoot, what year was it? It was the 113th Open.
Yeah,
2013? Is that what it was? I don't know. It feels like forever ago.
the
Um,
113th. That
but
was.
I
Let's
just
see.
remember it was an absolute swamp, but it was the first time I ever set foot on property there, and it was amazing.
Yeah, 2013 was the. And the
Yeah,
next time they're hosting is in 2040.
yeah, they're hosting something else though before that.
I mean, look,
Anyway,
you coach your kid up good enough for golf, he'll be playing in the U.S. Open 2040, and then
there
we
you
could all
go.
go.
That's the secret.
Yeah, diabolical plan, but it'll work. Hopefully. Um,
Exploitation at its finest.
right? Hey, whatever gets you there, it doesn't matter. It's fine. If he gets us all an invite to Augusta, I'm on board. Probably
Good
won't
luck.
get to play it like 5 times, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
I would say the problem is you're at least number three.
Hey, anything that gets me on the course, I'm fine with it. That includes
I think that's the problem.
sponsors out there. If anybody wants to invite us to cover cover playing at Augusta for our little podcast, I'm up for it. You never know. Dreams are free. Moving on too, we had some live golf action over the weekend. Sergio Garcia once again in the winner's circle, and his team taking the championship this weekend. Kev, you mentioned you stayed up kind of late to watch a little bit. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was kind of just hanging out Friday night around the house, and I happened to stumble on the fact that it started at 10:30 at night, because it was over in Hong Kong, and I was like, I'll be up. I might as well turn it on while lying in bed, so I did. Um, Probably the first time I've actually taken in more than a swing or two of a live event. Um, so I open-mindedly started watching it. A little bit of like nostalgia. Growing up, I was a huge Sergio Garcia fan, and for stupid reasons, like he wore colored hats that matched his shirts, that matched his pants or his shoes, and I thought that was awesome. Also, I couldn't stand Tiger Woods at the time, so he was the logic number two. So I took it in, and it was a cool product, I guess, to an extent. We'll talk about it in a minute, but some of the stuff that they feature in it almost feels a little gimmicky to me and a little bit forced. But again, we'll talk that in a second. The Hong Kong Golf Club was interesting, because it is only playing at 6691 yards,
Jeez.
which is a full 755 yards shorter than what Bay Hill played this week. It was interesting because it was just an old 130 some year old design, tight tree lined fairways. And watching some of these guys, man, I wish I knew what hole it was, but they tee off way above the fairway and they're bombing these drivers. And I was just watching DJ four left, way out into the trees, and like just balls going off the planet on some of these holes. It was intriguing to me. But yeah, I enjoyed it for a little bit. I admittedly fell asleep to it. Um, so that music and rock and roll, I'd say didn't sink in for me.
Let's say you bring up a good positive and kind of a negative there because the negative, of course, with Live Golf is that it's on at all crazy times because they play all over the world. 10:30 over here. But they tee off in Riyadh. That's late over here, early in the morning, something like that.
So the cool part about Rehab though was that they did it under the lights. So it
Yeah,
actually
that was
started
cool.
at like 10 in the morning. At least this year they did.
Right, but that again, that's still that's super early for us. So it's not like a convenient golf watching time. It's not like 2 o'clock on
Sure.
a Sunday afternoon. But the positive out of that is you are getting exposure to courses you probably wouldn't normally see, like Hong Kong Golf Course. I would never see that on TV if it weren't for Live Golf. So it
Yeah, I
brings
mean,
up pluses and negatives.
you'll see the occasional, course in foreign countries from like the DP Tour might have a stop in Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that. So you might see some of these strange courses. But yeah, one of the cool things about Live is that it is kind of like a global brand, if you will.
Hmm.
And you do get to see some of these interesting places and, customs that they do out there.
And you still have some of the top players on that used to be on tour playing. I mean, you got Sergio, Rom, Phil, Bryson. I mean, DJ. You got Harold Varner the third's in there. Brooks,
I
Patrick
was
Reed.
surprised. Yeah, you talk about like former players, and unfortunately, you're getting up there. And did you know DJ was 40 years old now? I don't know
Yeah,
why it felt like he was 35, maybe.
he looks like he's about
Um,
50.
yes, and I mean it's been what 4 years now or whatever
Uh huh.
since Live.
Yep.
But like, I think that's part of the problem. I read through the Live website and I was like, these new golfers have joined Live, and I was like, sorry, I
You
don't
don't know who
know
they
who some
are.
of these people are.
Right.
So you're kind of still relying on 45-year-old Sergio Garcia.
Ian
You know,
Poulter, Charles Howell the third. I mean, just going with some of
yeah,
the
keep
names that are on
going.
there. Oosthuizen. Like their household names are they're names that people know, but to your point, they are getting older. So what's going to happen when those guys like start to retire and Liv doesn't bring in some of the newer names? Is there's no like Liv Senior Tour
So that'll be the
yet?
interesting point for me is in a couple years, do they keep trying to buy these established stars? Are they going to try to, find their own stars and kind of make them come up with Live? Or is a merger going to happen and we're kind of just going to forget about it?
I don't think they can afford to do the younger stars. Like, well, to create their own stars, they have to keep buying players. Otherwise, they don't. I mean, their viewership. They had 12,000 people or something like that. I think that was the number. 12,000 people on average tuned in last week. So they don't have like the viewership to really bring in no name players.
Oh yeah, I kind of I mean they're also backed by, you know,
Yeah, the
the
PIF.
most wealthy people in the world.
Mm.
Um, so there is going to be money if they want money. It's not a big thing. But like just like kind of put in perspective, like as a soccer person, like we talk about growing players and buying players, and like you come up through an academy or something
Right.
and you get better. Like I just don't see that feasible with Live because this is like a we need this now, and we're not even thinking about 5 years down the line.
Yeah. No, I totally
Um,
agree.
so yeah, the whole player base is interesting. Um, I, I mean, they have smaller fields of only is it 54, I believe. I'm pretty sure DJ finished 54th. Yeah, it's just interesting. And then at the same time, we talked about Henley won about 4 mil. Sergio won 4 mil for winning.
Hmm.
On top of I think there's team bonuses too. So it's interesting to me. There's a bunch of different things that we can talk about and compare, like Live Golf to the PGA. And maybe we can touch on a few and see what we like, what we don't like, and maybe what we can combine.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Um,
I do love the team aspect of it. Like, I think that's really interesting. It's obviously something the TGL's taken off, and TGL's putting up numbers with it too. They've had what did I text you the number earlier today? It was like 500,000 something on average for the broadcast. Of course, Tiger Woods. They had his debut came in a million plus watching it, but yeah, TGL had 500,000 or so for their final round last week for the regular season anyway. In comparison, the PGA got 2.15 million on NBC, but of course that's NBC, not streaming, so you're going to see something big there. But yeah, TGL had on average 502,400 viewers for each match. The median viewer age was 51.4, so they're hitting that like 25 to 54 age spot. So they're doing pretty good. I don't know if anybody had them at 500,000 on average per viewership per season, but compared to Live just doesn't have those numbers.
No, they did just pick up a deal with Fox Sports. So they were on FS1 and FS2 over the weekend in Riyadh. Again, 10 in the morning instead of like 10:30 at night. You might get a little bit better viewership. They averaged about 40K in Riyadh, which is still, I mean, it's not even a tenth of what TGL's getting. But I'd be curious to see maybe in 2 years what TGL is doing. Maybe this is shock and awe. Whoa, look, Tiger Woods. Whoa, look, screen, simulator golf's popping off right now. Let's cash in on it. So let's see what that happens too, and see if their numbers drop too.
Well, one of the positives TGL has working for it is, it's going to be the same day, same time every week in general. I mean, they've had a couple differences here and there, but Monday night at 7, okay, we know we got a TGL match on. That's big. There's not much competition on Monday nights. I mean, they go up against wrestling on Netflix, maybe a college basketball game here and there, but they pretty much, sports-wise, I don't think they have too much competition on Monday nights. Whereas with Live, as we touched on before, it's sporadic times throughout the week, 10 a.m., maybe 10 p.m. There could be one at like 3 p.m. It all depends on where they're playing that week. So that's kind of a knock on Live there.
Yeah, I also think TGL, like compared to Live, is like TGL has this like designated that this isn't golf. This is green simulator. Like, let's have fun. Well, Live is still in this like it is golf, but it's not golf kind of boat. Like, we're gonna try to shake it up, but I don't think the whole shake up is really catching on to viewers, and especially the younger viewers too. I just don't think it's catching on. I'll touch on that in a minute. But yeah, let's quickly run down like the different tech things that we enjoy currently with like TGL, with Live. The very first thing that I saw watching Live on Friday night, they had this, they call it motion topographical lines, which basically when you play a video game or something, the lines kind of show you where the grid is, or where the breaks are and the slopes are in the green. And then they had like the perfect putt line that curves into like a bullseye on the hole. I personally thought it was really cool. We talk about certain golf courses, and like the one thing on camera that you can't tell is really how slopey and hilly a course might be.
Right.
We talk about like Augusta. Like, you show up at Augusta and the first thing you're like is, wow, that is a steep drop.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that,
you don't see it on TV, but dude, my legs were killing me the next day.
Right. So I think the topographical lines thing, as a golfer, I think it was really cool. And someone who enjoys technology, I thought it was really cool. And I think it has its purpose. However, a lot of people just thought it was kind of intrusive. I think to an extent, like, you have this new technology, you want to show it off. If you're using it on every putt, like, you're going to get lost.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's where Live was at. Like, they didn't have the proper balance of, wow, this is a crazy breaking putt. Let's show it. I think personally it would be cooler in like maybe a replay setting, because like it doesn't help if you show a crazy breaking putt and the guy misses it by 7 feet.
Well, I mean, they kind of said the same thing about the NHL puck tracker many years ago. And look where that wound up.
Not very far. By the way, also Fox? Was that also Fox?
That was I think so. XFL was Fox too.
I mean, the puck tracer, the heat map.
The heat map,
turns red when it goes faster.
That was awesome.
Yeah, kind of same thing. It was cool if you ask me, and then you watched it for the third game in a row, and you're like, all right. Yeah,
and that goes up to your point where if you're using it every shot, it way overdoes it. But I like the almost, I'll call it gamification of the broadcast for Live. I like that stuff because I like seeing the perfect line for the putt. I like seeing, the real time tracking of the shot, and that's not just from the shot tracker, but like the real time carry, seeing that number count up, seeing the ball speed and all that stuff. I like seeing that all the time, because that's a cool stat for me to see, just to see how hard these guys hit it, and then think about where my own game is and kind of just see how I'm hopelessly not even close to how hard these guys hit. But it is really cool, and I think that gamification is going to start to bring in the younger viewers, which is a problem that golf across the board has. I mean, like I said, with TGL, their average audience golfer, or their average audience watcher, was 51.4 years old. They're getting older. They need to keep attracting that younger crowd. I think Liv has the tools to do it. They just don't really have the placement to bring those people in just yet, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, I completely agree. However, I think there's something, the beauty of golf is it's just this simplistic, traditional sport. A couple sticks and a feathered ball and hit it across the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is also what people kind of want, to get away from, is from this technology and, now social media and screens. It's like, although you are watching on TV, don't get me any,
Yeah.
don't get it wrong. There's something about the sport where there has to be a line of this traditional, this is just, we hit a ball.
Yeah, and that's where the traditionalists are making their argument, which is we need to keep it simple. But maybe you have both broadcasts. Like, you have Liv doing a traditional broadcast and a gamified broadcast.
So, yeah, I think that's probably a good thing. We've seen it with, like, NFL has Nickelodeon now.
Right.
If you go to the right channel, you can see, SpongeBob throws a pass and, Slime shoots out of the end zone. Like that, it's a cool thing to watch if that's what you're into. And maybe you're right. One of the things with Liv is they have that, like, you can watch any shot whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's still a streaming aspect that can go along with it.
Yeah, because my grandpop is not going to go over to the computer to watch it, but he'll watch it on Fox Sports. But
Correct.
I'll go over to the computer to watch that. I don't even have cable, so I have no choice but to watch it on streaming. So that would be something that I would be more interested in rather than watching. I think it enhances the traditional broadcast. I have no problem moving towards it. I get why some people want to keep it simple and traditional. But I think what would really help is that option being there.
I agree. I'm all for technology. I'm all for making things cooler, if you will, even though that's not a term that, I would kind of associate with it. But for me, it was just the amount of it being used was just way over the top. And also, like, we talk about TV numbers, maybe if you expose it to 1 million people instead of 40,000, 20,000, maybe there will be a better, reception of this new technology.
Now, one thing I do think that Liv and the tour could benefit from is what TGL is doing, is miking up the players. Liv has a lot of those, like, personalities. I mean, they got Bryson, social media star Bryson DeChambeau. They could stand to put a mic on him for the broadcasts.
I would love it. We talked in our first episode briefly about, like, personalities, and, like, if you really want to grow the game, you need those personalities. Yeah, I think that could go a long way. I mean, they've started doing, like, on-course interviews, and they throw up an AirPod in their ear and they, like, chat while walking down the fairway. But I don't think you really get that insight on the tour as much.
No, and that's conversations I'd like. Like, I'd kind of like to hear the conversation between the caddy and the player trying to figure out what shot it is, because it helps me kind of think differently about my own shots, and I think that's really advantageous. And it might be cool for people who don't even play it to get a better understanding of the game of golf.
I agree. I think the conversations, especially with the caddies, really puts you into that, like, wow, like, look at, how technical you get. You monitor the wind, you monitor exactly where you want the ball to be. It's a totally different vantage point of, everyday golf.
Yeah, the only thing I see is the players might not be going for it, because it's almost like, listening to the coach call the plays on the sideline. So that might be some of the players might not go for it. But every time I've kind of just, you hear the mic pick up a conversation, like, oh, that is so cool, the thought process behind that shot.
No, I agree. I think that is something as well for me. I think that could really build on, a broadcast, is having that insight on the fly.
Yeah, TGL has the tools to do that, but they don't really get, like, those conversations. And I understand why, because the other team's taking their shot, so I get it. But I think that would be an interesting thing for TGL to go to. Maybe even if they split the broadcast in where you just stay on Jupiter Links and hear only their audio, and I stay on LA and I hear only their audio just for the broadcast. And I could choose between kind of like, the regular, I guess you would call it TV broadcast versus the individual team broadcast. That would be something cool that TGL could do.
That would be cool. I like that, team aspect. And I think that's where TGL kind of has the team golf thing. Like
Hmm.
it awards points for the team. Uh Liv kind of lost me with the individual leaderboard and the team leaderboard. Sergio got 4 million for winning. I believe his team also won the event too. But
Hmm.
like in what case like a guy finishes fourth, seventh, ninth, and 10th or something, let's just say, and that wins the team event. Like that's weird to me. And it kind of lost me. TGL kind of embraces the like, all right, every point counts. This is a team event. And I think they really did that well.
Yeah, and with Liv, you could get a
Um,
situation where guys like, all right, I could take this really risky shot and possibly win the individual, or I could play the safe shot and help my team. It gets to that, and so you're not going to get the greatest quality, at least as far as that goes. When I first like heard the concept of Live, I didn't realize they had the individual. I'm like, oh, that's really cool with the team golf, and I thought it was going to be set up maybe like a college competition or even Ryder Cup format would be really cool.
in my opinion, I think the greatest form of team golf is match play. That's the way we played through high school and even interclub during the summers. This is our team. We play match, and then you get that individualistic, hey, I got my point, but it's full team really in the long run. And I think the Ryder Cup is the perfect example of that. In my opinion,
Yeah, and
maybe the
TGL nails that too.
greatest golf
TGL
event.
nails it perfectly.
So yeah, I think that's if you want to go team event, stick to team event.
Yeah, I think Liv would
Um,
benefit from having like doing one or the other, and they would benefit more from team event because everybody's just going to be like, oh, well, it's PGA light because they only do 3 rounds. So Liv needs to stick to match play. I don't know if I'd want Liv to adopt the TGL format where they do match play for the first 9 holes and then switch to individual for the last 9, but award points based on that. I don't think that would work. I think you're right. Where TGL just needs to stick strictly to match play.
I'm fine with stroke play. So one of the things with Live is you get the shotgun start, but your
Yeah,
broadcast is only 4 hours. Also weird, by the way, people finishing up on not 18. But like,
and only 4 hours. You don't get like six
and
hours of
oh,
pace of play.
it's 6 hours of pace of play. Uh, I'll touch on that in a second. I found a
Yeah.
very interesting tweet on pace of play. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it's being rumored that there is going to be a list published by the PGA
Yes,
Tour
I saw that.
regarding pace of play statistics this year.
Yep.
Just straight out public shaming golfers to play faster.
Yeah, but I'm like, okay, that's going to be a funny list, but what is it going to do, really? Like, all right, cool. I'm on this stupid list that doesn't really mean anything. Oh, everybody thinks I suck because I play slower, but guess what? I'm raking in money by playing a 7-hour round. It's
Right.
it's fun and it's funny, but it's not going to help pace the play. PGA needs to put in that shot clock, which again points to TGL. They put a shot clock in there.
It's been exciting. I agree. I think, I mean, while we're young, didn't work.
Nope.
I don't think a shaming list of slow players.
It'll be a
Okay,
funny
whatever.
talking
You're still
point to our
winning.
pod. Like they gave us content for a podcast, so that helps.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Jay Monahan. But yeah, like I just don't get it. Pace of play. Like, what would you do here? Liv is claiming that they're gonna have a 3 minute halftime show, with fireworks and drones. Like, how do you determine a halfway point? Does everybody stop after 9 holes and just
Yeah,
wait?
the air horn goes
I think
off.
that it would be hilarious if like mid-hole everybody's like, "Up, you guys are playing too slow. I guess we'll have to wait. You're not exactly halfway."
That'd be great. They
Um,
they do they do the halftime show, and Bryson doesn't hear the air horn. It just rips a drive and knocks one of the drones out of the sky.
just rips
Hilarious.
one.
Yeah,
Uh,
great.
let's see, halftime show, 3 minutes. What band would be playing your golf halftime show?
My golf punk band, Two Putt Bogey
Okay,
or Two Putt Par. I
Super.
don't even remember what I called them.
Into the gorse.
Yeah, with their hit song "Into the Gorsh," into the Gorsh of it.
Okay, so you're picking your own band.
Yeah, no, you can't have a band play 3 minutes. I mean, what? I don't know.
I mean, you're not getting a ballad in there. That's for
Kid
sure.
Kid Rock will probably play. Like he'll play for Live. That's fine. He'll play at the Trump courses. That's all good for him.
That'd give me some CCR.
There you go. You can't do much. It would have it. You just got to do the drone show only, or they'll probably get like some local house band to play it. But yeah, the halftime show thing is kind of hokey.
Nothing says hokey like midday fireworks.
I know. Ugh. I mean, it's going to drive viewership up by one person, so it's worth the
That's
money
right.
invested. So yeah, we'll say that does not go into the perfect golf broadcast as the halftime show.
Yeah, no, I'll pass on that.
Again, unless you have it structured like TGL, where they have a spot for the halftime show, and it kind of works as like a recap. But yeah, Liv doing a TGL or doing a halftime show just does not work. Yeah, pace of play is going to be a problem, and again, until they adopt the TGL shot clock, just everybody does. It's going to remain like that. Like there's no other way around it.
I agree. Let's put a shot clock in.
Yep.
Get more shots. Fewer commercials. We're just going to throw fewer commercials in there.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That was one of my things with Liv. There was still the same amount of commercials, and if you're only watching one round of golf, it just felt like less golf being shown. Less commercials. None of this playing through nonsense. Let's see the shots. We almost missed the chip in by Henley, by the way.
Yeah.
During the broadcast, like they cut back as he's making contact with the ball. Like we were literally 5 seconds away from having to watch a replay of the biggest moment of a tournament.
And that's the problem with broadcast television, though, is you have to have those 8 billion commercials to pay for the airtime. Like it sucks.
You do,
but
well,
especially
when they're funneling all this money into the tour. Also,
yeah,
like, you've got to make the money.
Yeah.
So double-edged sword, definitely currently. Also with like the personalities, I don't know if you've seen this. The European tours, the DP World Tour, their YouTube is fantastic. I looked through the PGA YouTube. They have a couple small features, but mostly it's just highlights and watch this shot. But one of my favorite thing is when they the DP Tour has this thing called like the One Club Challenge, where they go through the bag and like on a par 3, and you got to hit driver. This guy hits pitching wedge, and like it could be 200 yards, and you're watching a guy blade a wedge or a putter.
Yeah.
And like it's just fun in games, and that gets you that little personal insight into it. Like they seem to be having fun with it, which is something I think needs to be funneled more into the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing good old Beef doing that one a couple years ago, the One Club Challenge. And you're right, they do some interesting games. Like, it's like draw a card, that's the kind of shot you have to hit. It's cool like that, and that's something the PGA could probably benefit from, is bringing more personality to their players.
I agree. And I think it got to make it more relatable.
And that's something you could possibly even add to a broadcast. If there's kind of like a lull in the action, or there's some lesser known players playing that don't necessarily always get TV time, even though, I will say they deserve the TV time. Obviously, they're going to put it towards the more experienced players, but, it would be interesting to throw that in on a broadcast as part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I remember there was one, like, they're 20 stories up on a building and they're trying to hit a floating island out on the ocean or something. Like little things like that, I think, is just a cool way of... to me, that's like better than, hey, let's throw lasers and fireworks. Like, I think incorporating the golf into something cool, like hitting off a building.
Yeah.
They've got that new stadium thing where you can go play at the ballparks
and,
hit off the roof of a ballpark. I think that's kind of cool.
It's expensive. That came to Philly, and that was like... I know you guys looked into it. That was super expensive.
I chose not to go because of the price. I remember that much. I just thought it was too much for essentially Top Golf.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you're just driving onto the field. It's not like you get to put a ball in a hole. You're just, here's your spot. Here's where you shoot from.
Yeah, no, I agree. So let me ask you something. When you tune in to watch golf, what are you looking for? Are you looking for these guys to shoot 40 under for a tournament? Or are you looking for them to struggle?
No, I don't want to see somebody annihilate the course. It's always cool when somebody does and just, rips a course apart, but I want to kind of see everybody on the same level. I want to see good, tight competition. I don't want to see some guy winning the tournament by like 15, 20 strokes. I want to see like what we saw at the Palmer Invitational, one with a big swing at the end. That's really cool to me. That makes it exciting. I want to see the bad shots too. One, it makes me feel better about my game. It's like, okay, they are kind of normal like us, but two, it makes it more, I guess it makes the game more real and makes them not seem as perfect. And you say, oh, he's only like 3 under. Why? Well, here's how he got here, because he made a triple on this par 3, and on, par 5, he put 2 in the water. That's how he got there.
Oh, yeah.
It adds drama.
We spent 20 minutes in the last episode hyping up Aldrich Potgieter.
Yeah.
And how good he was coming off of this playoff loss, unfortunately. And then I watched him at Bay Hill top one into the water off the tee. We're all sitting there, one of us. Yeah, that's
what I want to see. I want to see a more realistic more realistic play.
I agree with that. Personally, if I tune in, I want to see either superhero or just average Joe golf. Like I want to see them making birdie on every hole, or like just like wow, par is a great score.
Yeah.
I just feel like having professionals be a little bit like humanized. There's some maybe it's just growing up with the game and like kind of playing competitive golf that I love watching them struggle sometimes too.
Yeah, and golf is unique in that it's like one of the only sports where we can see that. You know, we can play the same courses these pros play. We can struggle on the same shot that they struggle on. You know, I could hit a drive on Bay Hill 18 into the water and just like the pros do. Whereas if, you know, I'm playing baseball, I can't go to Citizens Bank Park and have somebody throw me a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and try to hit it out of the park. I can't do that. But Bay Hill, for instance, I can. And that's part of the magic of the PGA, and that's what I want to see. I want to see them struggle in certain spots where you expect them to struggle and say, all right, I know these guys are way better than I'll ever be, but it's tough. Golf is hard, and I want to see it presented as being difficult.
I agree. And I think you brought it all together perfectly there. There's this connection that we have to have with the game because it is accessible for us. You know, we use the same clubs. We use the same ball for the most part. We play the same course. And if you want to go back to the pro tees, there's a spot you can find and hit it.
Yeah.
You're right. And I think connecting with the average person is a big thing. And I think that's the balance that we've been trying to find over the past few minutes and that these guys really need to push going forward.
Absolutely. All right, so what do we got? We got show more bad shots and make it seem more like an average, make them seem like they're one of us. We said we want a shot clock. We said we want more personality and more like player caddy talk, more players mic'd up. That's also one of my favorite things, like NFL broadcasts too, where they mic up the players and bring more like
NFL
personality.
Is awesome.
Oh yeah, bring more personality to the players. No halftime shows. So I think we covered everything we want in a golf broadcast. What would enhance the game for you in person?
In person? Man, the one thing I love the 16th hole at the Waste Management. I do. I enjoy it. But these giant boxes that are so exclusive, that gets you right on the action. I would like the opportunity to just have everyone that gets in to have some of these views.
That's a demand thing, though, and that's also kind of a safety thing because I mean the 16th hole at Waste Management is hectic as hell.
I'm not calling for that anywhere else.
Yeah, and I'm not doing it. I mean, it'd be cool to sit there, but no way.
It's like Times Square. I'll do it once.
Yeah,
I think for me personally, I just enjoy being like on the course and watching the ball speed, and we got to see Bryson at Augusta.
Oh yeah, that was
like,
awesome.
Just being on the ropes and like, man, I thought like I've seen a ball go far, and then he hit it one. I was like, that was just different gravy.
Oh, you lost sight of it. It was what was amazing to me, and full disclosure for everybody listening, that when we went to the practice round at Augusta, that was my first live PGA event. And just the way some of these guys would almost teleport from the backswing to the follow through. Like, you don't appreciate that kind of speed on TV. And it really is. It's like they're in their backswing and then your eyes can't even process it fast enough how they get to the follow through. It's ridiculous. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is quick. And I don't think like you can just throw, 190 miles per hour club head speed or ball speed. That doesn't really mean anything. It sounds fast, but like what's the difference between 190 and 180?
Yeah, you don't appreciate it until you hear the crack, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh, well, I striped that ball. I cracked it really hard when I played my round, and it made a really loud pop. But the gunshot sound of it coming off these guys' clubs is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very different being in person there and then just watching it on camera.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of ways you could really improve it in person, and I don't think there's much. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence with the music that Liv and TGL play during the shots. It's cool. It's kind of I think I'm on like a take it or leave it. It doesn't really enhance. It doesn't take anything away from me.
I completely tuned it out on the Liv broadcast.
Yeah,
it literally added nothing for me.
Right.
And you've heard players too come out saying like it's kind of silly, but
Yeah.
we'll deal with it. So I don't think there's much of a need for that.
I
Um,
think I think Live captures or not Live, TGL captures a nice, more boisterous stadium atmosphere. I mean, obviously nothing's gonna touch 16 Waste Management, but they have a nice. It's more of like a sporting of, I guess what we would call a traditional sporting event, like going to a football game or a baseball game, than going to a golf event. That's kind of cool, but
mhm.
again, nothing is gonna beat just that quiet and then somebody making a monster putt and just everybody screaming, going nuts live. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think there's many ways you can really improve it in person.
No, I don't think there is, and I think they do a good job getting you as close as possible too.
Oh yeah,
You look at the shoots that these guys hit down, and like you get that if you can get to the spot, obviously. But like, I think it's incredible in person. I'm not sure how you can improve in person outside of, silly stuff like, beers shouldn't be $20. Let's make them
right.
10. I feel like that's really my only gripe with being in person.
Yeah, that's about it. I
And
mean, it's
accessibility, by the
Chef's
way.
Kit. Well, yeah,
Shame
yeah.
on you, Ryder Cup. Shame on you, Ryder Cup.
Can't take the hills at Ryder Cup. Can't take the hills at Bethpage.
I can't take $1,000 ticket.
Yeah, that too. That was crazy. But I mean, it's the Ryder Cup, but still $1,000.
It
Yeesh.
is. If you haven't been to one, dude, make sure you take the time. Find any local tournament. Talked about Marion earlier, and like, there's ways to get on these courses if you're close by. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I was about to bring that up. Like, it doesn't have to be PGA. You can get it on LPGA event, amateur events, anything. Just walking the courses, especially if it is an exclusive one like Marion, where you have to know somebody who knows somebody to be able to play it. That's a cool experience. But seeing it live, it doesn't matter what tour it is. It's a treat, and especially if it's a nice day. Okay, it may not be the greatest golf in the world, but at the very least, you're outside on a nice day on a golf course. I mean, it's fine. You're cool.
And you're seeing someone way better than you are, probably.
Oh yeah, way better than you'll
So
ever be.
it's still, something to be seen.
Yeah, because let's be real here. All you guys sitting at home, oh, I could beat the women in golf. No, you can't. You could play from the forward tees, and they could play from the tiger tees, and they will still wipe the floor with you.
It's quite incredible watching a women's event because you want to talk about just accuracy.
Oh my
Like, I'm
God,
pretty
it's
sure these
insane.
guys could hit it within a foot from 200 yards away, like on a line. It's crazy. They're incredible to watch.
Yeah, the
Um,
women are so good, and again, and just like most women's sports, they don't get as much flowers as they deserve. But yeah, their pinpoint accuracy on the LPGA is just ridiculous. But speaking of playing and comparing ourselves to the pros, Kev, you got out last week, right?
I did. I got out to the local muni over here.
Woo!
Yeah. Look, Delcastle, I love you. Oh no, it wasn't even Delcastle. Sorry, I played
Yeah, you
Ed
played
Alvarez this weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say you played
Local
Porkies.
Porkies. Love the course.
Ed Oliver is a
because-
former tour player, right?
Yes, yeah. He's a former player.
He won
this
8 times on the
course-
PGA Tour in the 40s and 50s. Lost to Ben Hogan in the finals of the 46 Championship, and runner-up to Julius Boros in the 52 Open, and to Ben Hogan at the 53 Masters. So, decent little career for Ed Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, great career. The problem is his golf course is about still in the 40s and the 50s.
It's a little rough.
It's such like a 1900s design where every green slopes back to front and some are just crazy slopes. But the problem is a local golf management company came in and bought a couple courses that used to be state owned, including Porky's. And they decided to roll greens, but they never redid the greens. So there are times where you can be 150 yards out and hit just a tiny bit of the backspin and your ball's ripping off the green. There's also some design issues. There's one hole where you're in danger from about 5 different holes. To the point where I had like 200 yards in and I chose to hit an 8-iron. I was like, I'm not even coming close to the green. I'll chip up.
That's Scotland's finest course where you're under fire from 10 different directions.
Yeah, but the problem is you're in a cow field in Delaware, basically.
Yeah. Is that the one where I want to say it's either 16 or 17 and you have to carry it over a bunch of just like garbage, but there's a couple branches that just like randomly stick out in the middle? I'm trying to think if that
There's a
was the
few of
course.
them.
Because I know I played it once and I smacked the crap out of a drive. Like I caught it perfectly, but it just picked off this one little branch and shot straight up into the air. That was basically in the middle of the line that you had to take. And yeah, it just clipped the top of it and gone.
Yeah, there's a couple of just it's overgrown. Like it's just not well maintained. But it adds to the charm of municipal golf courses. Um, but yeah, it was interesting. The fun part in Delaware, we still don't have handicap season yet, so I played without caring what I shot. I didn't keep score. I know I made a birdie on four. I don't know if I made more than three pars, but I don't think I made a double bogey. So
Well, that's good. Better than my round because I played my home course, the Golden Horseshoe Green course, and I looked. It is one of the top 100 resort courses in the U.S., and rightfully so. It's a fantastic course. I played 9 holes, and I struggled, dude. It was bad. It was. That's all I can say about it. It was bad.
it
I
is
had
bad.
I had zero ball control. I was overhitting. I was underhitting. I was pulling. I was pushing. Almost everything you can imagine doing wrong in the game of golf, I was doing. Like it wasn't good. I had maybe 3 shot tracer shots on the day. Like, not great.
Because it would fit on camera.
Yeah, pretty much. It was.
Fantastic.
I only played 9, and I was 12 over, which is really bad because I usually average about 5 or 6 over on 9 for that course. It wasn't one of my finer showings. I had one great shot, and that was on the ninth. The ninth is a par 3, 140 yards. We played kind of late, so the sun was pretty much down. Like, you couldn't see anything, so it was completely blind shot, and took my 8-iron, ripped it, and ball hit, spun back a couple feet, and wound up 2 feet from the hole. I was like, man, cool, but wouldn't that just be it? Like, my first hole in one, don't get to watch it go in because it's too dark.
That means it doesn't count.
I know, right? But, shout out to my protege and my student, Captain Micah. It was her, 6th round of golf, and she was playing phenomenally. We were playing match play, and she was playing from the forward tees, and I beat her on the last hole. Like, she was keeping pace with me. So, come a long way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys play straight?
No,
you give her strokes?
No, we play match. I mean, I do give her strokes on match. We kind of play just like a fun modified, just a way for her to keep competitive with me. Bend the rules quite a bit for her, but she's
Definitely.
learning. So it's more about building confidence and making the shots and making it look good. But it's always cool to see your student equaling you, even if it is like a little kabuki and you bend the rules a little bit. She still kept her own, made some phenomenal shots for only the 6th round. So yeah, proud of her. Big props.
Nice.
And of course, the other half sitting in a golf cart drinking and driving the cart. So that's always a fun time too.
All right. Little modern day Mr. Miyagi over there.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. We got paired up with 2 guys that were playing a match. Couldn't have been 2 different levels of golf. It was fantastic. The one guy showed up in sweatpants and a t-shirt. And the other one was, dressed to the nines. It was awesome. It was so much fun. The one guy's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm playing terrible today. And then on the 18th hole, he's like, I could still win this match. It was quite the turn of the day.
That's why match
But it's
play is
funny.
great.
He must have been given 4 strokes a hole. It was fantastic.
That's awesome. You know what, though?
Yeah.
As I always say, everybody starts somewhere.
You're right. And you hit that one shot, and I say it literally every round. And I go, you're coming back next week.
Yep. And that was my shot on the 9th. It was like everything was terrible, but that one shot keeps you coming back. And before we wrap up, too, we didn't mention Tiger, the big story out of this week. Ruptured Achilles.
No, we didn't. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Practicing, and poor dude ruptures his Achilles. Talk about dude's injury prone. He's out 6 to 8 months from this. It's rough.
It is. It's tough because, in my opinion, the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And we just haven't been able to see him for years now. And it's Achilles, it's his back, it's whatever. It's a car crash.
Yeah, we got
Just
2007.
crazy events.
2007 ruptured his ACL. 2007 ACL repair. '08 was the knee surgery. He's had multiple discectomy, which is just like a pain and nerve issues doing that. Lumbar microcompression in 24, spinal fusion in 17, torn right Achilles in 08, and ruptured the left Achilles in 25, and of course the big car crash and all that stuff. Like, played with back injuries. It's
countless back spasms, and it's been crazy for the guy. And I feel bad because I've come to really like Tiger over the past few years as he's shown more of that personality we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a robot early on in his career, and that's why I didn't care for him. And he's shown that personality, and like I've really enjoyed it and kind of missed out on, not idolizing a guy, but like really growing up, looking up to like this guy. It's been sad to watch over the past few years. I wish he's gotten one more chance.
Yeah. And I think we're pretty solidly in agreement that without so many injuries, he easily would have passed Jack and Arnold. Like, there would be no doubt that he would be the greatest of all time. He's obviously in the conversation. Like, he is right up there with Jack and Arnold. No doubt there at all. But there would be a without doubt conversation that he was the GOAT if he had stayed healthy.
No, I agree. I don't think this is a LeBron and MJ argument.
Right.
Personally, I think Tiger takes it. I think Tiger has the history and just the way he's gone about winning over Jack. But yeah, it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch a guy, especially because of injury.
See, I put him really close to Arnold, like, with a tough conversation, because the way I look at stuff, the way I look at greatness is how they revolutionized the game. And Arnold transformed the game incredibly, and Tiger did the same thing. Arnold has more wins on tour, but Tiger would have beat that if he'd stayed healthy. So it's a close 1 and 2, but again, if he had stayed healthy, no doubt for me, number 1. Easily.
No doubt. I mean, we grew up in the Tiger proofing era, and to me, I don't think anything has changed the game more than Tiger proofing a course. And just, it's funny because Tiger proofing just led to him
getting
having
better,
a greater advantage over some of these guys. But speedy recovery to Tiger.
Yeah, and he's expected to fully recover 6 months. He'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, but what's fully recover for Tiger? That's the problem. Because fully recovery is like he still really hasn't been able to walk a full tournament.
Yeah. Fully recovered is better than we'll ever hope to be. That's for sure.
I hope he's back. I'll always have my Jupiter Links if I need to get some Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, he won't be helping Jupiter Links in the playoffs this year. Oh, wait.
Oh, man. Speaking of which, if anybody has a cool big letter hat, send it my way. Give me recommendations because I
lost the bet.
A debt.
Yep. Oh, well. So. It is what it is. But, 6 months. 6 months he's out. He'll be all right, though. I'll tell you what, when he's at the senior tour, Bernard Langer's record's going to be in jeopardy for sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. But if not, TGL. Which again, suits his game perfectly because, to your point, he can't walk that well, and, you're not walking too much on TGL, so he'll be all right.
Yeah.
So, yep, raise one up to the big cat, get better, heal up, and that's going to do it for our show this week. So we'll be back in another 2 weeks or next week. We'll see. We're still kind of fleshing that stuff out by ear. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us. Don't forget to like and comment and, of course, subscribe to the podcast to get the latest episodes and all those good things coming your way.
Yeah, also find us on Instagram, Twitter, @TendingFlag. We're going to get some stuff moving on the socials coming up shortly that I'm excited to start working on.
Yeah, thank you guys for your support, and here's to many more in the coming weeks, and we'll be back at you in 2 weeks. Take it easy, y'all.
All right. Cheers.